wall and opening things up for yourself, but I think that B is maybe a bit risky, considering that not a lot of the walls will be favorable towards that, but we'll leave it up
Yo.
to show us why that is a good pick. Of course, we gotta talk about the dojo too, and B is pretty much a staple of LATAM South, and already Firecroak's putting it to work on the right.
Yeah, some wise words from our co-caster there, and he is a staple of this.
Yo, we are here again. Let's watch the matches. Nothing to do, so we are watching matches. Let's go.
Holiday value rather than somebody like Piper, which is somebody I think a lot of other regions would have chose. I think Brock would have been an excellent choice too. They could go down right on the other side. Could disrupt things with tick a little bit, help out their sharpshooters. Right now, there's a lot of back and forth, which is typically what we see in knockout. Maybe trying to place down the turret from B to get a little slow, and if they take that down pretty quickly, I think it's going to be really difficult to get value out of things like that, especially with the control.
Now, let's also talk about the supers that have been accumulated on both sides. Good dodge of the super there by Firecrow, and we see the points that start to close in as well. Firecrow has a super, so does Adenia on the right side. Pekka's looking for the last bit of damage. Down goes Prazi, and the last to go down is Alchemical. Chazmac Gaming BR just getting
Chessman Gaming. Let's go.
bring it back. Pekka is going to start things off with bang with super on the right side. And it is decisive advantage in this matchup. Thankfully, Prazi is going to be here to provide a little bit of pressure, a little bit of control. Firecrow manages to thread the neck right, but it takes him to get a little bit more damage on Prazi. Firecrow does not let up at all. And in all, Pekka actually just saved Prazi's life there. Firecrow taking that last bit of damage as well. Right side off to the take on B. Really, there's not a great matchup for Alchemy versus
Nice.
except
Well done.
see it then.
Oh,
Will actually goes down, and now it's a 3v2 for the IB versus it's going to get a huge comeback. Bring it back around this game.
nice.
These bells just keep standing out very
GG's.
doesn't look like they're going to get it. Jasmine Gaming BR taking it again at number one. And there's Firecrow himself. A nice victory for them to start things off. And kind of what we expect here from CMG. This is the kind of caliber of team we're looking for to make a good run here, take a stab at being the first to take down EQM. And now we'll hop in to game number two.
Okay, Pekka taking the mid lane this time. Thrower v thrower.
Hello Rajdeep, how are you doing, bro?
Does have a bit longer range. We'll see if those lanes switch up at all either.
I've already got all the rewards, so I will not get any points.
Jasmine, horrible for KIB. Also with exit going down, that's bad news. Here's a tick super coming in. Firecrow will manage to take it down. So along the way, they did lose a Sprout as well. So if a 2v2 is anything to...
GG's. Oh yeah. Music.
Zero. Chazmac getting VR. One round away from taking this. We'll see.
Yeah, new addition to the roster. Pekka got really impressive there as the Sprout. I think you can do that when approaching a tick. But you can be
सब रिवॉर्ड्स ले लिए हाँ भाई
end up working out nice.
मैं सब रिवॉर्ड ले चुका हूँ क्लेम कर चुका हूँ
As well. As Prazi's going to be stuck
अरे मार अंदर
anymore. The Sprout creeps up and he's going to heal so quickly. That's one of the things Tick can do super well.
Jesus.
Concentrating into the fire with the takedown. And now we see Alchemical all alone here going against the fire.
GG's oh
Just bell stands.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tough match.
डांसिंग भाई टॉक्सिक हो रहे हैं बंदे यार
Yes, look
मैं तो ना खेल पा रहा प्रोत्साहन ना ये देख पा रहा हूँ हाँ तो भाई
be there.
5 ही तो स्ट्रीम होती है देखने में क्या
Hopefully,
कभी भी पॉइंट्स लगा के छोड़ जाओ
kind of thing. We've seen how that can happen in competitive. Spinning and pinning, kind of.
ये देखो 3000 पॉइंट्स मैक्सिमम है और 3000 पॉइंट्स मैं कर चुका हूँ तो अभी कुछ
Starting for Chaz
रिवॉर्ड्स बचा नहीं है करने के लिए
into the dry season for some set number 2 action. And Chazmac keeps up with this really, really great pacing. He might even sweep things 2-0 and already securing the ticket to the semis.
थोड़ी बैकग्राउंड में क्या है कूलर है भाई कूलर की आवाज आती है कूलर बंद कर दूंगा तो फिर भाई मेरे को पसीने में ना आ जाऊंगा
This could be a big one for them, and I think this quarterfinal number one could have ramifications for the region overall. You know, something we need to mention: arena Casito, the current second spot. Not in this month. That's a huge deal for teams that are in that second, third, fourth kind of range. This is going to be a really big deal for both.
देखो डिफरेंस दिखाऊं, ये देखो मैं कूलर बंद कर जाऊंगा तो आवाज का डिफरेंस समझ जाओगे किस चीज की आवाज है। देखो कूलर बंद करता हूँ।
At the end of the year, that's still something all these teams are working very hard for. These months still count, and this is a really big one, I would say, for both these teams. KIB gonna have to really step
अब बताओ, अब आवाज आ रही है?
dominating that first set a little bit.
देखो आवाज तो नहीं आएगी लेकिन मेरे को पसीना जरूर आ जाएगा भाई।
I do think that B was actually
अब बताओ आवाज आ रही है?
good strategy to go with as well. I was a little bit guarded around it at first, but Firecrow really does show us how it's done on the B, especially when you kind of looked at things
वही बोल रहा हूँ।
in practice. You saw
अब कूलर बंद करते से ही भाई देखो पसीना आना शुरू भी होगा। इतनी गर्मी है क्या करेंगे?
to survive
40 डिग्री के ऊपर
the poison
तो सुनो आवाज बैठती है, मैं नहीं जानता।
ability in close range, but that's also where B is going to kind of thrive as well as in those close range.
अब वापस से आवाज आएगी। हेलो निखिल, व्हाट्सअप, कैसे हो?
Draft is awaiting us in set number 2. We are going to be playing dry season this week, just like in our previous season. We've been looking for some of those key problems. Surge is a big one. Also Squeak, who's actually banned by both sides in the last set. Maybe some of the teams will get a little swell of confidence and think, we don't need to ban Squeak. We can get another ban in there.
हम लोग के इधर बहुत दिन बाद बारिश हुआ है। अरे भाई तुम कहाँ रहते हो यार? बारिश हो रही, तुम्हारे यहाँ इतनी गर्मी हो रही, पीछे कूलर चलाना पड़ रहा है, उसकी आवाज आ रही है। लोग बोल रहे क्या हो रहा है, किस चीज की आवाज है? भाई इतनी गर्मी हो रही है, 40 डिग्री टेम्परेचर हो के रखा हुआ है। अभी कितना टेम्परेचर चल रहा है? और कितना है भाई? ये अलग नशे में रहता है। ओके 35 है अभी। मन खुश हो गया पूरा। वेस्ट बंगाल कोलकाता, बढ़िया भाई, बारिश के मजे ले रहे हो तुम तो अभी से। यहाँ तो हम कड़ाकेदार गर्मी के मजे ले रहे हैं।
First pick from Chasman Gaming VR is going to be Gene, and I think this is actually very wise, and it's a great use of having 3 bans total. Of course, no duplicate brawlers, we'll get that sorted in just a moment, but the Gene is going to be very, very powerful here without Mr. P in play. Mr. P pretty much can single-handedly counter out this brawler, and I think that Chasmac will really be able to thrive with it now. See Chasmac actually go with the Bell now for their 4th pick, 5th pick coming in as well. KIB can also follow things up with a counter if they so wish. No throwers are going to be very viable here unless you're KIB. No, never mind. Actually, Chasmac are going to go with the Sprout here. And I think that totally makes sense considering that KIB would be playing a thrower into a brawler like Gene. Chasmac Gaming are going to be playing Sprout into a Max. And I think this draft really does actually favor KIB. They have the Max, they have the Leon, they have Colonel Ruffs. They can get some serious aggression versus P.E.K.K.A. if they play their cards right and they don't get aggressive when it's not really warranted.
I definitely think there are a couple matchups too, though, that CMG do get a little bit of a favor. I think the Bell being a long-range option is great. The bounce shots can go into Colonel Ruff's sandbags, and P.E.K.K.A. on that Sprout can also basically eliminate those from being a factor at all, which is good to
Goldie क्राइंग मैन जो यूट्यूबर है वो किस टीम्स में ही खेलता है? कोई सी भी टीम में नहीं खेलता ब्रो, ऑलरेडी संन्यास ले चुका है। Who next term win bro? Who next term? भाई समझ नहीं आया। मिस्टीरियस गेमर कहना क्या चाहते हो? मैंने तो ऑलरेडी बता दिया था ना, चेस्टमैक गेमिंग को कर देना वोट। पहले वाले में तो चेस्टमैक गेमिंग था, दूसरे वाले में एसी मिलान था, तीसरे वाले में रेनेगेडॉस था, चौथे में ओनीमा गेमिंग था।
But it's not going to gain them a whole lot of ground, actually. The speed into Edinho with his pull ready to go is going to be a huge risk, and KIB are going to have to try and bait out that ability to be able to do anything. A bit of a wasted lollipop drop there. It was not able...
Crying Man already संन्यास ले चुका, वो खेलता नहीं है। हायरा जरूर खेलता है, लेकिन वो उसकी टीम को इतना ज़्यादा खेलती नहीं है अच्छे से। भले ही उसने 70 के ट्रॉफीज कर ली हो, लेकिन as a team in a esports, he is not doing well. let me tell you.
It's like Chazmac game
He is a good content creator but not a esports player.
is almost
esports में फिलहाल 2-3 टीमें ही हैं जो बहुत अच्छा खेल रही हैं. One is Zeta Division, one is
They do
Free Win Agents,
it down there. Nice pull.
and some other teams as well.
Do anything.
Tribe sometimes doing well, sometimes not.
Now they are going to be facing a match point.
GG's. Oh bhai, if Chessmac Gaming win just one more match, they win the whole set and they will move on to the semi-finals. Let's go.
You're gotta stay focused and don't let your focus or your concentration slip, as that next game could very well be a match point. Let's see what they do here. Already some sprays coming down as well with the new
Oh bhai, good shot.
don't really say if it's a balance change or not. Maybe you could use it for team communication. We'll see how Chazmac Gaming and KIB's team communication size up versus each other, though, as they're both fighting over that blue star to boot. KIB did manage to get it last time, though they did quickly lose it to Chazmac Gaming BR. We'll see Chazmac actually get the blue star this time, so they'll get to dictate the pace of the match. At least for now, Firecrow also throws down a nest egg, and that's going to pretty much nullify KIB's chances of getting a kill on the right lane from the beginning of the match.
And to get that blue star too, P.E.K.K.A with some masterful dodges, taking very minimal damage there, despite the Colonel Ruffs going into him. And again, this is similar to what we saw last time. You know, no kill yet for Chazmac Gaming BR, but they do get to control the pace like you mentioned, which is a huge factor in Bounty. They don't have to get overly aggressive. They can pick their spots, and it's left to the person that's down, the side of KI.
Only to me tournament खेलो ऐसे करते करते एज भरते रहो तो आखिर में हम
P.E.K.K.A can do
तुमको भी वर्ल्ड फाइनल्स में देखेंगे. भाई उसके लिए टीम चाहिए होती है,
the kills they need.
समझ रहे हो? एक डेडिकेटेड टीम.
Though, they're gonna have to make a move.
ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई भी जाके खेल सकता है. इंडिविजुअली अगर जीत रहे होते तो हायरा अभी तक पहुंच गया होता वर्ल्ड फाइनल्स,
Geared up.
लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है.
Defense, they are backed up quite far. They want to give themselves a little bit of distance between themselves and Exit, who does have the speed. 20-second mark is approaching. It's about to be drive time for KIB. We gotta see a super in from Exit. They're really waiting till this final countdown comes down. Here it goes. Already a slow one to Exit and a mark as well. Prazi and Alke can't get around that right side. They're blocked off. You might see a little bit of damage by Exit. He is gonna get pulled and go down.
Oh भाई, GG's. Chessmac goes to the semi-finals. Hello Lyle Ron 2.0. मैंने पिन जीत ली न्यू वाली. हाँ भाई, वो तो मैं पहले ही कंप्लीट कर चुका हूँ. ये देखो ना, मेरे पास भी है.
Lock in their spot in the semifinals.
जस्ट फॉर फन देख रहा है,
Great plays overall. This is the
सिर्फ मजे के लिए देख रहा हूँ, कुछ नहीं. Bro, how to see you our prediction? How to see you our prediction?
either contested.
See you your भाई देखो, अगर आपको देखना आप अपना यहाँ पे क्लिक करके देख सकते हो. आपने किस चीज को वोट कर चुके हो वहाँ दिखेगा.
Finals where
बाकी मैं पहले से नहीं करता हूँ, मैं सिर्फ डायरेक्टली आके ही करता हूँ. मैंने ऑलरेडी चेस में गेमिंग को किया था 87%, लेकिन मुझे पॉइंट्स नहीं मिलेंगे. आई विल नॉट गेट 80 पॉइंट्स बिकॉज आई एम ऑलरेडी हैविंग 3000 पॉइंट्स एंड ऑलरेडी क्लेम द रिवॉर्ड्स. तो मुझे कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. हेलो कुणाल कुमार. हाँ बेटा,
Maybe
बोलो दादाजी.
of course, we are, I think, betting on AQ to win the next quarterfinal. You guys, of course, can vote as well on bet.brawlstars.com to
भाई अब तो किसी को भी वोट कर दो,
you think is
पॉइंट तो हमको मिलने से रहे.
quarterfinal.
ऑलरेडी रिवॉर्ड मिल चुके हैं सब.
To interact with some interesting polls every now and then. You guys voted what Kenny's favorite brawler was, and it looks like 48% of you voted for Sprout, and only 33% of you voted for Gale. And Kenny, I feel like you have some choice words to share about that one. Kenny's totally a Gale guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you. I mean, maybe some people are newer to BSC. Maybe they haven't, talked to me personally. But I know some of my other.
Mr. P is gonna be so happy. Mr. P को वोट करिए, 25 पॉइंट लीजिए.
goalie you've ever
Which you vote, KIB Esports और
for Gale fans out
मैंने उसको दिया था भाई, चेस में गेमिंग, और वो जीत भी गई.
here and through, right?
हो गया, चेस में गेमिंग हो गया. अगले में AC मिलान को कर देना, मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
Brawlers just yet, but I feel like there's some definitely good hints in the background that you guys can vote on in the later polls that are coming up as well.
मैं तो अपनी पिछली स्ट्रीम में भी बताया हुआ था ना भाई, किस चीज को करना है.
our second.
बाकी आप लोगों की मर्जी है, आपको करना हो तो करो, उस टीम को नहीं करना बिल्कुल मत करो। मेरे से पूछोगे तो भाई मैं तो
This is going
जो टीम को जानता हूँ मैं उसी को बोलूंगा जी हाँ भाई ये कर लो।
into the LATAM South scene. It's going to be Regula Mentados, and that is going to be our second team. They're brand new to the BSC here in LATAM South, and they are looking to make a statement here. AC Milan Clash, though, this is just another obstacle in their way towards claiming their world final spots, and they've had a really good record so far, going so far as to already lock in things for the MSI.
Yeah, and I think this is just a really unfortunate first seed for these guys. As 2 out of 3 of them, it's their first monthly final in 2022. But Kyle Zera, somebody that this scene should be familiar with. He competed with Aphelion Esports last year, making all 8 monthly finals, and was also a 2021 World Finalist. This is his first monthly appearance, I believe, and definitely a really strong player. Getting back into the scene a little bit and playing with these two guys, I think they definitely are a strong roster. Great team. It's just they're playing against AQM, and for me, AQM is just on a level right now for this region where until they lose, I'm not going to bet against them. That's just how it is. The past 2 months, they've been playing on a tier of their own. Last month, only dropping 3 games total.
अब तुमको क्या हो गया राजदीप?
And just taking a game on them sounds like it's going to be a challenge as it is. But again, they have a lot of potential. They've got the experience. I think this could be interesting. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of with you. I just think AQM, until proven wrong, I'm going to be going with.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see if Regula Mentados are able.
Hello, Abhishek Srivastav.
In itself would be a mess. If you're going to take a single game off of the AC,
Who what?
would definitely be something to be proud of
ये
yourself.
who कहाँ से आ गया भाई?
It's an accomplishment. As you said, only 3 games have been taken off of AC Milan Clash in all of the monthly finals so far, which is just absolutely.
ये भाई कहना क्या चाहता है? Who बोल के? Who?
See if things
Who?
now.
Let's go. Who?
Sort of format that we're competing in. Power match has changed up a little bit. We already got a little bit of a taste of it in the quarterfinals, and as we were saying, kind of at the
क्या अभिषेक भाई तुम बोलना क्या चाहते हो? समझ नहीं है यार।
you got to play.
ये who का क्या मतलब?
If you're watching SESA and
Who?
see what the implications.
चिंगलाला who? 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 Who?
So see how AC Milan Clash plays around it. Knowing them, knowing how seriously they play the game, how seriously they take it. This is they're professionals, right? This is their job. They've definitely been scrimming like dawn till dusk in this 3-ban format, and they're gonna come with.
भाई AQM select कर लेना, मेरा तो automatic select हो रहा है क्योंकि मैं already सब points हो रखे हैं।
Something seriously tricky up their sleeve in order to take down these titans.
And that's the bright side about this new format. There's so much freshness to it. If there's ever been a time for an upset, it's now. These guys have had about 3 days roughly to deal with the new balance changes, the new format, and start scrimming it. You know, it really is a whole new universe out here and competitive. And if there's any better time, it's now. You know, they do have some veterans on this side of going against AQM. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I think, you know, when it comes down to it, I'm going to rely on what we've seen so far this year. AQM has dealt with adversity before. They've proven time and time again.
मैं 6 से 7 महीने
And just for me, that's kind of where I'm
से
There's definitely some brawlers
24K Moona push
a lot. Maybe they
nothing.
can keep that in mind and Bandit take it for themselves. I mean,
Tata bye bye.
decent spot right now, especially for maps like we're about to see, like Double Swoosh. He's already been used before in this region. I mean, if anything, he's stronger now, and several other brawlers coming along with that too. All it takes is one really good
Okay, nice.
advantage.
कोई नहीं,
Yeah, I really like Bo on this.
24K में हूँ।
And I think something that people sleep on this guy for a lot is
बढ़िया ब्रो, 6 से 7 महीने से एक ही जगह पे हो। इतनी कंसिस्टेंसी भाई सबको चाहिए।
the enemy team. If you're not communicating the position of these different mines. Oh, look, that's our snake friend as well. Anyway, yeah, those mines can throw a serious wrench in your plans if you're not.
Sorry, auto typing.
I feel like maybe that could take down regular Mentados. We haven't seen them before. We don't really know a whole lot about them in terms of what their combos look like.
कौन से कीबोर्ड यूज करते हो ऑटो टाइपिंग के लिए?
From these teams is we are facing versus AQM, and you haven't been playing for as long. You haven't been playing together for as long. The synergies don't really lend themselves towards like effective communication, if you start getting dominated, then you might get a little bit withdrawn and not talk as much. I can definitely say that I get like this when things get real rough. We have the bans coming out, though. We have the Stu, Mr. P, and Gale from the side of Regular Mentados. From the side of AC Milan Clash, the Squeak, the Eve, and the Bow, actually. So, I'm very sorry, Kenny, but we won't be seeing any Bow, at least not in set of 1.
Hey, that's all right. I think, honestly, a pretty solid ban overall. We see Gene and Mr. P get eliminated here, too. So that's several mids that can do really well. Eve, of course, I feel like still a strong brawler overall. First pick overall, though. 1.1. We get Surge. First time seeing him here today. I'm really excited to see what he can do. You know, obviously, Surge has had his moments in the past. He's a great counter to throwers. And
Any soft keyboard.
he's definitely not a map historic.
बढ़िया bro.
He's been played on. So it seems that
Google Indic क्यों नहीं use करते?
really valuing him, kind of like we evaluated before. This is a prediction that we had that Surge would be one of the best brawlers. And, you know, even though
तो
Pan
जो वो हिंदी भी थोड़ा बहुत समझ जाता है तो वो उसको बाईपास नहीं करता, ऑटो करेक्ट नहीं करता. बाकी कीबोर्ड क्या करता है, हर चीज को इंग्लिश की तरह सोचते हैं कि हर एक लेटर, हर एक वर्ड जो तुम टाइप कर रहे हो वो इंग्लिश के लिए है, तो वो ऑटो करेक्ट करते रहता है बैठ के.
Surge on this map. Typically, we only see Surge picked as like a counter to throwers, and obviously no throwers to speak of, at least for now. What it can do is outrange Pam and Crow once he gets those next levels. And if he uses that new gadget that has replaced his teleport forward now, he can get that right off.
गूगल इंडिक ये वाला तो
Quickly. We will see the M's pick from regular.
ये वाला तो क्या
As the dog from these guys as well. And I think that the Colonel Ruffs is going to be pretty effective at
डाउनलोड करना पड़ेगा.
for the first bit of the match.
भाई प्ले स्टोर पे अवेलेबल है, करना है तो कर सकते हैं.
Probably will
iOS पे भी अवेलेबल है वो तो.
dealing with like IMS or something instead, and we'll see. What? Okay, well that, in my opinion, is straight up bizarre, right? Because AC Milan Clash have not picked any brawlers that break open walls. Regular Mentados have picked one brawler that can break open walls, and that's like their MO. That's Colonel Ruffs' main objective, is to break open walls. This is going to be an interesting one. Let's all sit back and relax and see if AC Milan Clash are really able to make this happen with the Piper.
Jeez, let's see.
I definitely wasn't expecting, you know, maybe in other regions they pull this out, but Double Swoosh, I have not seen a lot of Piper, and I think you're on the money. I feel like they're trying to go for a wall break strat, which can do pretty well into IMS, but honestly, it can be a little give and
भाई
take.
साहब.
Could open up the map, which favors Piper, but also the sandbags. Piper does really poorly.
Oh,
Close to
one shot and done.
takedown on the left-hand side, already at that level 2. Motep with a good takedown, though. Kauzera, though, and we dropping the sandbags, staying up and maintaining those 4 gyms. Lead so far for our red side.
Yep, and we'll see if they're able to keep it up as well. I would definitely say that Kyodog and Motep could absolutely clutch up here. We'll see Lele Ninja take down BT Zim on the right side, though. Kyozera
भाई क्या सोच के पाइपर लिया है भाई, लॉजिक नहीं समझ में आया.
keep on trying to slow things down, trying to bait these sandbags out of Kyozera so they're not going to be a huge issue in the late game. That's another thing to consider, is that the sandbags are going to be huge for dealing with not only Kyodog, but also Motep, as long as regular Mentados are able to play around it successfully. Kyozera picks up the 7th gem of the game. Kyodog trades out, picking up another one. Here we see a big wall break, a jump in from Motep, and he's going to get punished so hard. BT Zim won't stop, though. He has nothing to risk and everything to gain. Kyodog with a wall break as he jumps out, and now this is looking like a much better game for Kyodog and Motep around the left side.
Nice.
Kyodog with some nice shots going in there. Gonna get a takedown to M's, forcing Kyozera back as well. BT Zim now charging down the right-hand side. Little more wall break as well here, too. And things looking better and better for EQM, the more gadgets they can burn from the Ruffs, too.
Oh, GG's.
Nice teamwork there, too. Left-hand side takedown. And now everything falling apart here for regular Tanos. They will not have enough time to claim from the mid here, especially if Kyodog grabs one more. Attempted a shot here at Surge and a bounce away. 9 seconds to go. And all Piper has to do is just stand around.
Well, this is wild. I feel like we haven't seen this combo in such a long time that I completely
Nice.
is Crow and Piper. It is amazing. If you slow down enemies, you can basically just auto
बढ़िया खेल है. पाइपर लिया तो लिया, लेकिन कर लिया कवर.
the Piper to boot.
ये भाई बुरा क्यों मान के बैठा हुआ है,
Literally that
मुंह लटका के. मैं हार गया, ये जीत गया. भाई ये जीता है हारा, कुछ एक्सप्रेशन समझ में नहीं आया उसको देख के.
this map and it worked so well. Another thing to consider is that regular Mentados don't have any brawlers like Rosa or like Max or anything that can seriously surprise you, jump out of the bushes at you. We'll see actually though, great stuff on the left side from Delino. Motep.
Oh, nice shot. Oh, bhai.
On the left side, AC Milan Clash.
Crow is carrying so much, bro. I have to say that thing. Crow is carrying very much.
Looks like control mostly belongs to regular Mentados, at least within their own.
Nice.
Clash just do not win for even a moment. Here's the wall break in this game. I think is going to start falling apart in favor of AC Milan Clash.
And Motep putting on a show so far. The gadget, slow toxin kicking in. It allows them to slow down enemies. Lands those shots like you mentioned and hasn't fallen yet. Kyle Dog and Motep being a great combo right now, and it gives me some real backyard bowl kind of vibes ready. Just a good throwback of that strategy that you mentioned, and it's working out here. You know, that's not one we see a lot of times. Two brawlers that synergize really well, paying off here so far. 15 seconds ago.
Nice, bhai. Crow.
Now the side of regular Mentados are going to have to try and make something happen. Just Kyle Zero on his left-hand side, Lele Ninja on the right, trying to push forward. It does not look like they're going to have enough time. A very solid set for both sides.
Nice. Hello, Kichu. Yo, Kichu. What's up?
From AQM. I mean, these guys show us how you get it done, even with a Piper on double swoosh. I feel like more than anything, this was a statement of, hey man, we are in charge and, you know, don't step on us, right?
Crow must खेल रहा है भाई, बढ़िया कैरी किया उसने. पहले मिडिल में जाके उसने कैरी किया, फिर उसने साइड लेन में जाके भाई तहलका मचा दिया. सर्ज को लगने ही ली दिया कि सर्ज जो है वो नया पावर और नया सुपर लेके आया हुआ, उसको यूज ही नहीं करने दिया भाई. क्रो प्लेड वेरी वेल.
Someone somewhere has like won a match because of a 1% advantage on Ring of Fire. And being hot zone, right? It is one of those modes that can really go either way. If regular Mentados get a single game off of AQM, it's
चलो 2 मिनट में मैं पानी की बोतल लेके आता हूँ. हेलो फैजल हुसैन FF फ्री फायर और FF.
That's a really big one here too, and again, this is what I'm kind of looking forward to seeing this month.
Rai from
Most recently,
Chapri Londa.
the meta. That's where he shined the most as a defensive brawler.
ठीक है भाई. स्वर्ण प्रभा रे. टीम क्लैशर एक्सक्लेमेशन मार्क. रास्ते का वाईफाई. वाह भाई. रेड फ्रॉम छपरी. अरे भाई ये कौन है भाई? छपरी लोंडा. ये क्या है?
A solid choice, so I think a lot of
रेड फ्रॉम छपरी लोंडा. अरे अरे क्या बात है भाई. थैंक यू सो मच भाई फॉर द रेड. क्या चल रहा है? चलो इसी बात पे पहले सब्सक्राइबर्स मूड हटा देता हूँ, नहीं तो काफी सारे लोग आके ये को बोलेंगे भाई सब्सक्राइबर मूड हटाओ, सब्सक्राइबर मूड हटाओ. हटा देते हैं सब्सक्राइबर मूड. एनीवन. अरे एनीवन ही तो है. हाँ नहीं तो फालतू में कंफ्यूज करते हो. रेड फ्रॉम रास्ते का वाईफाई. भाई ये रास्ते का वाईफाई क्या है भाई? रेड फ्रॉम छपरी बॉय. वाह भाई वाह. थैंक यू सो मच. रास्ते का वाईफाई एंड छपरी लौंडा और छपरी बॉय. भाई पता नहीं क्या क्या लिख रहे हैं भाई. छपरी लौंडा लिख रहे हैं कुछ लोग, छपरी बॉय लिख रहे हैं, जो भी है भाई. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द रेड. Welcome to the stream. Make sure to drop a like and of course subscribe. Raid from छपरी बॉय. चलो छपरी लौंडा से छपरी बॉय हो गया. फिर एक भाई ने लिखा है, टीन क्लैशर ने लिखा है, अरे ब्रो क्रेजी बॉय आर्मी. क्रेजी बॉय आर्मी भाई. ठीक है भाई. छपरी लौंडा, छपरी बॉय, रास्ते का वाईफाई और क्या था, छपरी आर्मी, क्रेजी बॉय आर्मी. सॉरी क्रेजी बॉय आर्मी. थैंक यू सो मच जिसने भी रेट करिए. वेलकम टू द चैनल. रेयरेस्ट वॉइस. वेलकम टू द चैनल ब्रो. रेट फ्रॉम छपरी लौंडा. क्या बात है. बहुत बढ़िया. शानदार, जबरदस्त, जिंदाबाद. लुल आई डिस्ट्रॉयड रेट. वाह भाई वाह. स्वर्ण प्रभा रे. अरे 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 ये क्या कर रहा है भाई? अरे ये स्पाइडरमैन बनके कौन खेल रहा है भाई? हद है भाई. ये लोग कौन है भाई? ऊपर वाली टीम एसी मिलान क्लैश की है जो स्पाइडरमैन बन के खेल रहा है, नीचे वाला रेगुलर मेंटेडॉस टीम का है। रेयरेस्ट वॉइस क्रेडिट जाता है क्रेजी बॉय को, थैंक यू सो मच क्रेजी बॉय। भाई अब और कितना नाम बाकी है ये भी बता दो मुझे। थैंक यू सो मच क्रेजी बॉय फॉर द रेड, वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम ब्रो। ऑडियंस से अरे आ गया क्रेजी ब्रो, थैंक यू सो मच क्रेजी बॉय, वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम ब्रो। पेपर ही फाड़ दिया, बोला भाई मेरे को खेलना ही नहीं है, ये ले स्पाइडरमैन को खिला रहे, मैं कैसे जीतूंगा, मेरे को भी तो कोई मार्वल्स का टीममेट दो, इसलिए उसने पेपर फाड़ दिया। बोले मेरी टीम में तो कैप्टन अमेरिका ही दे देते, एक भी नहीं दिया है, कैसे जीतूंगा मैं। अरे अरे भाई स्वर्ण प्रभा रे, भाई रुक जा भाई, क्यों छपरी लौंडा बॉय बना दिया बेचारे को, क्रेजी बॉय को छपरी लौंडा बॉय बना दिया है, ये भी ठीक है भाई। वाह क्या बात, टीम क्लैशर। अरे यहाँ हो क्या रहा है ब्रो, वो स्क्रीन पर वो स्पाइडरमैन बन के अपने जाले छोड़ के जीत रहा है भाई, ये चीटिंग हो रही है, रिपोर्ट करना चाहिए ब्रॉल स्टार्स को। स्पाइडरमैन से गेम खिलवा रहे हैं तो वो जीतेंगे ही भाई। सस्ती वॉइस ओपी, अरे सस्ती वॉइस ओपी क्या ही करेंगे। हाँ ब्रो अब रुक जाओ स्वर्णा स्वर्ण प्रभा रे, छपरी बॉय आ गया, वाह क्या बात। वैसे क्रेडिट मुझे दे सकते हो, ठीक है भाई। रेयरेस्ट वॉइस थैंक यू सो मच। So guys, if you have already voted and won the reward, then okay. Otherwise, I have just made the predictions available for you guys. You can just go and wait. Chat miss crazy boy चल क्या रहा है, कितने नाम डाले हैं पता नहीं भाई, आप ही लोगों ने डाले हैं जो भी नाम डाले हैं। स्पाइडरमैन नो वे होम में स्पाइडरमैन को कोई भविष्य नहीं रहा, अब वो खेल रहा है ब्रॉल स्टार्स, सही बात है, बहुत बढ़िया। स्वर्ण ने यूज किया अपने ही रेट टैग, अपना ही रेट टैग, अच्छा बहुत बढ़िया, मतलब कुछ भी रेट का लिए टैग बना दिया है, छपरी लौंडा बना दिया है, मजाक था। चलो बाय गाइस, बाय बाय क्रेजी बॉय, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द रेड एंड एंजॉय ब्रो, हैव फन। भाई ये क्या हुआ, एक ही हम जीतते जीतते हारते कहां से लगी, स्पाइडरमैन की पावर कहां चली गई। मिलते हैं 6 मई को, 6 मई को ऐसा क्या है भाई, अगर ब्रॉल स्टार्स के टूर्नामेंट की बात है तो वो तो 7 मई को है, इट्स ऑन 7 में। न्यू टैग डॉक्टर चड्डा, वाह 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 वाह, वेरी गुड, वेरी नाइस, डॉक्टर चड्डा इज वेरी गुड टैग, आई लाइक इट। जो भी चैट में अवेलेबल है डॉक्टर चड्डा ओपी कर दो भाई, बनता है। ओ भाई ये क्या हुआ, अरे स्पाइडरमैन मान ही नहीं रहा भाई।
Yeah, just a great comeback there. I mean, just real technical.
भाई ये सबसे बढ़िया लगा भाई, स्पाइडरमैन बन के बंदा खेल रहा है, जीतने का तो है।
Because once you get spawn trapped on this map,
छपरी बॉय का एग्जाम खत्म होगा 6 मई को, अच्छा ओके ठीक है भाई, मुझे लगा 7 मई को टूर्नामेंट है तो उसका कंफ्यूजन, मैं इतना भी कुछ खास नहीं।
great candidate to be in these bushes and get aggressive as we're seeing here on the top. Looks like the Leon getting some work done. Lele Ninja gonna fall there. Great job to Motep so far to try and claim a lot earlier on this hot zone, and a much better start here for AQM than we saw in game number 1.
Let's hope that Lele Ninja is able to stay alive.
भाई पिछले मैच में 88% पे थे ना वो लोग पीछे, फिर ये जीत कैसे गए, मैं ध्यान ही नहीं दिया। स्पाइडरमैन ओपन द चैट, स्पाइडरमैन नहीं है वो, मकड़ी मैन है वो, मकड़ी मानव। अगर किसी ने हिंदी की डबिंग सुनी है खतरनाक वाली, सबसे पहले वाली स्पाइडरमैन की, मकड़ी मानव, मकड़ी मानव ने ये सब किया है, समझ रहे हो, स्पाइडरमैन नहीं मकड़ी मानव।
So
पहले की डबिंग भाई खतरनाक, जबरदस्त, जिंदाबाद।
making people remotely close to that mark unless regular Mentados are somehow able to regain control. It's an uphill battle.
जो भी है मकड़ी मान, ओपी इन द चैट गाइस।
Down the pin, super and to the sandbags, closer to their spawn, just so they
अपनी लैंग्वेज में उसे मकड़ी पुरुष कहते हैं भाई। मकड़ी पुरुष तो मैंने नहीं सुना, लेकिन हाँ मकड़ी मानव जरूर सुना था, बहुत पहले की स्पाइडरमैन्स में।
nice pinch there. Delaney gonna fall. About a 4
स्वर्ण प्रभा रे बाय, ओके बाय बाय, हैव फन एंड अ गुड नाइट स्लीप,
advantages, powered up.
बाय।
Tough situation. Kyle Dog with the takedown.
ओ ओके 85%, 36%,
50% to overcome. Can it? They make the comeback.
Visibly, when again, the damage
90% हो चुका है।
aggressive play with that stick around, going to be able to take down
10% रिमेनिंग और एग्जैक्टली 9%। ओ आ गया भाई। नहीं नहीं नहीं,
70% mark, but AC Milan Clash just needs 9% in order to secure their ticket to the semifinals. Kyle Zera is getting a match between two brawlers right now, Kyle Dog and BT Zim, and AC Milan Clash able to get the team kill.
जी जी। ओके भाई, चलता हूँ, कल आऊंगा स्पाइडरमैन की शक्तियां प्रदान करके। ओके मकड़ी मानव, एंजॉय, गुड नाइट।
To face off.
अरे भाई सच में भाई ये पागल है क्या? कुर्सी पे कहाँ चढ़ के बैठा है, उसको देखो
Spider-Man, you
भाई।
gotta respect it. Whatever
यार ये क्या है,
some people just play
क्या इंसान है ये,
level, and they needed the hero.
क्या चल रहा है सच में? कोई वर्ल्ड स्टेज में चल रहा है, क्या चल रहा है
2-0, 2-0. I think second set pretty solid.
भाई? यहाँ पे लोग, इतने सारे लोग ई स्पोर्ट्स देख रहे होंगे, वो सोच रहे होंगे भाई कर क्या रहा है बंदा यार, ये स्पाइडरमैन बन के तो चलो ठीक है, बन के बैठा था, कुर्सी पे चढ़ गया, हैंडल्स पे,
Disrupting the regional
हैंडल्स पे चढ़ गया भाई,
doing AQM things so far today.
कुछ भी चल रहा है भाई।
Things hopefully for regular Mentados, they're able to face versus a different team in the next month because honestly, I gotta say, I
बहुत बढ़िया।
these guys for the next month. We saw earlier on they were also lamenting the loss of Portuguesa Esports. They didn't get to qualify.
यार ये आते हैं भाई।
They're not the only team that didn't get to qualify this month. We don't see RKC in these RP finals.
मकड़ी मान, मकड़ी मान, मकड़ी मान।
First two quarterfinals, we're going to be moving on to the bottom side of the bracket. But of course, living rent-free in the back of our heads is going to be our first semifinal matchup, which is already on our bracket, awaiting us in the semifinals. Kenny, this one is going to be furious once we head on to the semis.
Yeah, this is arguably Chasmic's biggest match of the year so far. This is a really, really much-needed win. And you know, I was talking with other pros in the
इस मकड़ी मैन के लिए एक मैं हाईलाइट डाल रहा हूँ, प्लीज जरा रुक जाओ, थोड़ा देर के लिए वीडियो नहीं दिखेगा। हाईलाइट में वीडियो क्या डालना, टाइटल बताओ।
if they get an upset here, they're not only hurting AQM, but they're also boosting
एसी मिलान,
that gap even more.
एसी मिलान क्लैश, क्या नाम है, क्लैश ही नाम है ना इनका, हाँ एसी मिलान क्लैश।
Up next, of course, we have Renegados taking on Zero Zone, which I'm really curious about. Renegados, of course, recently picked up Marcel, previously a CMG player and a two-time world finalist. And I was always a big fan of what Renegados were doing in third-party events in previous BSC. So, if anything, I think they just got a little stronger. Lost 2-1 to CMG last month. I mean, they've definitely got a minute to try and make a stab at
एसी मिलान क्लैश,
I would say, coming out of the lower bracket.
सॉरी टीम एसी मिलान क्लैश
Yeah, the inventor of the Protesto now being acquired by Renegados
is using Spider-Man
of that thumbs down, which now got
to
animated
win games.
that action in the games as well. If you want to get the chance of winning some in-game rewards yourself, by the way,
Ultimate hacking, clickbait, OP बोलते।
start answering some trivia questions, making your predictions as well to
और मकड़ी मानव भी डाल देते हैं, मकड़ी मानव।
that fabled pin that awaits the best predictors among you at the end of the road for this month. You can also get the rewards from last month as well, so don't worry if you fell behind a little bit or you're just now tuning in for the first time throughout the esports season. You can get a whole lot of rewards.
Hello lucky gamer, what's up, how are you doing bro?
March monthly finals and working your way back up to May. Let's talk about Renegados F8 versus Zero Zone once again though. I think we talked mostly about Renegados now acquiring Marcel, and also from the side of Zero Zone, look, we've seen like, you know, pretty pretty decent, pretty solid performance from these guys in the past. They've made it to numerous months.
डाल दिया भाई.
We've seen these players last year as well.
Upload हो रहा है.
But to side with you, Kenny, I think Renegados do have an advantage here because we've already seen them pick up a pretty good track record this year, but also now they're acquiring Marcel on their roster.
Yeah, and you know, Zero Zone showed up in March. This is their second time this year. It's their same roster, except they added Wesley from 6 as well, another really solid team in this region. Great player. They added some depth too. They definitely have a solid shot here. Overall, though,
याद है मैं 50 रुपीस लेके गया था गिव अवे में.
region,
भाई बहुत सारे लोग जीतते गए थे, मुझे कोई आइडिया नहीं है.
huge deal in
तो
person
क्या हो गया भाई?
player. Obviously,
50 रुपए का नोट
adds
नकली निकला.
really solid team. As we approach Super Beach, we'll have to see it all unfold here. But a lot of excitement. Very good teams both facing off. This should be an exciting one.
Okay, well, let's see what the three bands are from both sides. Renegados FA are going to go with Mr. P, Stu, and Spike. From Zero Zone, it's going to be Squeak, Eve, and Surge. So, no duplicate bands across the board here. Don't get me wrong, these are all very strong brawlers, but I think you can see pretty deliberately they have navigated around brawlers that they want to acquire for themselves. Renegados especially now going to be picking up.
गोल्डी में जा रहा हूँ. बाय. ओके बाय. हैव फन. गुड्डू नाइट.
To get a little bit
जाके गुड्डू के साथ सो जाना.
secure
नाइट नाइट.
points here. Of course, things off, and no doubt Renegados are going to be trying to do that quickly. I think they'll probably pick up a Daryl somewhere in here. I think that'd be a pretty solid pick. For Zero Zone, though, they're already anticipating the tank play and going with the Bell and the M's sort of as preemptive counters.
Bell's one that's really interesting me. You know, this is something I've noted in past months when we've casted this region. They typically rely on Jesse for spots like this, and that's the second time today that we've kind of seen Bell be implemented in a lot of times in the past. I feel like Jesse's the mid that we would have seen in this spot. Similar bounce shot mechanic, except to get the turret out of Jesse. It's a brawler this region has really liked for a long time. However, it is often addressed because of Mr. P, so maybe that's part of it as well. Fan of the Sandy pick here too. I think in times like this, when there's a new meta, a lot of things changing, you know, Sandy's a great, reliable brawler, a long time, a solid pick, and especially when you got invisibility on your side, I think it's a very solid choice overall. Definitely some options that are still available, though. We see that Daryl coming in here, in my mind, immediately goes to Gale. This is somebody, even though he recently got a nerf, goes down to 1.25 seconds for that stun. Still seeing a lot of value, shows up in a lot of scrims, and he was even banned here earlier today in Sesa. Obviously a great tank counter, and I think would really provide an advantage for Zero Zone here if they took that with already having Ims,
Wow.
and it looks like that's what they're going to do.
All right, well, looks like we've been pretty solid on our predictions on who wins each game so far, but we did get some good predictions on what the brawlers are going to be for this game as well. The Gale counter.
Hello Arnav, how are you doing, bro? Welcome to the stream.
If anything, I think Renegados are going to actually have a pretty tough game ahead of them because no matter how much healing Daryl or Sandy gets from Byron,
All right, hello.
Gale
Hello.
that you inevitably feed by getting in close range versus these guys are going to be keeping you back even more effectively. Renegados have to be very cautious about this. If anything, their most powerful position is going to be when they're at mid on full health. So they just respawned, or
भाई 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 अरे
we'll actually see Marcel
नाइस ट्राई बट नहीं हुआ. डैरिल से नहीं हुआ.
Renegados
Esports की लिंक दोगे, मुझे मिल नहीं रही है.
control
लो
over
भाई.
after picking up those couple of kills on aggressive brawlers, and they're going to try and strong-arm this into their first goal.
And Wesley already getting some time in for Zero Zone here, placing down the nest egg as well, which will only make things more difficult for aggressive brawlers like Daryl. My son coming in, Dorito's gonna fall there too. Wesley
डाल दिया.
gonna fall, and now things are looking really good for Zero Zone.
Easy goal.
And they dip.
Zero zone.
Wesley getting the first one of this set.
Great stuff for Zero Zone so far. Renegados have to fire back right now. There's not a whole lot of time left on the clock, and they got 2 goals to get here if they want to be able to take the win in the end. Yureg is going to move up pretty aggressively. He can't really pinch with Marcel to get Alonso. In fact, Alonso is going to pick up the kill. Wesley also helping out. No one wins their lane on the left side. A roll in, but the ball in position scored. Zero Zone have to keep moving up, but they also don't want to feed the super to Jureg, so they'll just wait for Renegados to kind of creep out of their goal and see what they can do to slow these guys down. Remember that Zero Zone already has a goal, so they just need to stall things out in order to take the win after 40 seconds of defending.
Byron doing a great job of defending here, really pushing back the Gale, even getting a tag here and there onto Wesley too, but now going to fall. 3 brawlers standing for Zero Zone. Marcel very close to the ball, going to elect to leave it there for now as Doritos is going to pick it up. They're going to try and put it more towards this mid, I imagine, to make things a little more difficult for Zero Zone to get a goal and also just place it a little closer to their own. And now they're just going to place it in that back left-hand corner. It's going to be pocketed for now, pushed back onto Doritos. He's going to have to get to this ball and fast. Marcel,
Come on. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Oh, 3 seconds goal.
1-1 and
Bhai sahab.
Absolutely massive comeback, and look,
क्या खेले भाई. Hello, A Vasudev, Krishna Pathak.
doesn't have that ability just yet. Here it comes. No one doesn't actually. What? How did
भाई साहब, what a comeback. वाह, ये होता है comeback.
how did that not push him back?
Jeez.
not sure what the Daryl roll was, what was happening. I think it was due to his super close call and an incredible clutch there. Because honestly, in terms of the draft, I don't feel like Renegado's won this. I do feel like Zero Zone does have an advantage here. And they're now going to lane the Gale up against the Daryl and
भाई क्या ही देख लिया ये.
for sticking with that. I mean, things were looking very poor for
भाई देखो, अगर पूरा उसके पूछो तो भाई AC मिलान
going up and then on.
पूरा फाइनल तक पहुंच जाएगा, जो इसको हमने वोट किया हुआ था ऑलरेडी.
Well, sure, but they've got the long range capabilities. They have the Gale to push back. I mean, just honestly, really well played from Renegados. They very easily could have lost that, and I think Zero Zone was winning that game for about 90% of it.
Yeah, hard to agree here. I think that this was like definitely a Zero Zone game until Renegados seriously clutched up, and I really do hand it to Marcel on a lot of those plays. I think that this was an extremely key acquisition for this team. We'll see Doritos gets a lot of heals in. Marcel isn't able to thread the needle around that fence post, and it is going to cost him. Doritos still manages to pick up a kill, but he's still invisible. No one doesn't have clear directives on.
ओ भाई, गोल चांस, गोल गोल गोल.
Will Wesley be able to prevent this from getting
Oh,
Doritos?
jeez.
In a minute 25.
Hello, Shift Time 30, what's up?
Defensive capabilities of Zero Zone, but Zero Zone doesn't have the offensive capabilities that Renegados has mustered so far.
Okay.
No one go down on the left side. Marcel trying his best to keep his defense in here. Alonso taking a whole lot of damage as well. A minute left on the clock. Renegados just have to stall things out, but it might even be in their best interest to keep on playing aggressively and try and get another goal because they're just not really prepared for defense with their draft.
And here, a huge shout out to him. He's been a great team player throughout this set. You know, just like we saw recently, Doritos was facing off, even stunned against the Gale, what should have been a takedown. He focused on his teammate when he needed to, landed the shots that he did, and rather than being in a 3v2 situation, they got to a positive transaction and traded. I mean, overall, heals coming in again onto Marcel there. Gonna get the takedown. It is tough to take down an Ims as a tank, but overall, you're a huge factor for why they're making a comeback here, and they just seem more confident and more poised. And I feel like that momentum shift is really going to make an impact, even though I do feel like their draft should have a disadvantage. It's all about how you play it sometimes.
20 seconds, come on.
To work with, and now with 15 seconds to go, they're going to be defending this ball that's pocketed on the left-hand side.
Oh, bhai, is it going to be the comeback?
It's gonna happen. Marcel could get a roll in. He needs to get one.
Oh, this is getting interesting, guys.
Time begins, and Renegados somehow have to deal with not having the range to compete. What they do have, though, is they have Doritos, and Jureg has been doing a phenomenal job of keeping this guy alive and healthy. Doritos has been a good
Bro.
getting those sandstorms out pretty reliably and in good position, but with it worn down now, Zero Zone is going to make a big push on the side of Renegados, pretty much taking no damage along the way as a severely outranged Renegados. Jureg and Marcel are pretty much
Jeez, भाई क्या चल रहा है ये?
is going to be enough to put that ball in the goal. And Zero Zone
Last second goals करने का रिकॉर्ड चल रहा है क्या? Last 10 second में ही गोल करना है.
A complete reversal of what we saw in game number 1. I mean, It was completely the opposite. We saw 90% of the time Renegados was in favor, and then all of a sudden here comes Zero Zone charging with a couple kills. They get the nice goal in just as overtime's approaching. And again, I think when things are about even approaching overtime, I really do favor the side of Zero Zone. I think that's going to be something nice for them, at least how this set's played out so far, that they can always have in their back pocket. It's not the worst thing for them to go into overtime. You know, Byron can heal as much as possible, but the nice long-range tags from Bell, Gale can get a little bit outranged towards Sandy, and of course, if Imps has a super, it's really difficult for Daryl to push forward, and we see him try and roll here now. Marcel gonna get taken down. 3v2 scenario once again. No one doing his best into Doritos here. Nice takedown. Now a 3v1 situation, and we're already gonna see Renegados on the defensive.
Oh man, they are not really prepared for this. No one also has a stun ready to go. If he gets the ball, he might be able to make a goal here. Doritos actually gets a lot of heals, but no one gets the push out onto Jurek. He's not in front of the goal. Alonso forces him out by zoning it with his super, and Zero Zone pick up their first goal of this game. But look, Kenny, if history is anything to draw on, I think that means that Renegados gets this one because Zero Zone had a great game at the beginning. Renegados were able to bring it back. We'll see a push in from Marcel. Can he make something of this? Well, he will get one kill. Alonso does get stunned as well. Not quite a kill yet. Jurek is going to look for something here. Alonso also gets to hang on to his super as well. Zero Zone have successfully defended, and a minute is left on the clock for Renegados to fire back. And they're also going to have to get rid of that ball in the corner as well. Now, Marcel has the mobility to do that.
लाइव प्रेडिक्शन करना पड़ता है क्या या प्री प्रेडिक्शन?
With this damage amplifier.
भाई तुमको प्री प्रेडिक्शन करना तो प्री प्रेडिक्शन कर सकते हो, 1 घंटे पहले खुलता है उधर जाके.
Consistently finds its way.
मैं तो कर नहीं सकता, मेरे पास ऑलरेडी पूरे पॉइंट्स हो रखे हैं तो वो करने ही नहीं देता.
Which he did a lot in game number 2, but this is looking more like a game number 1 for Renegados. And they need a serious comeback somehow within the next 30 seconds. They got a Sandstorm to work with. Let's see what they do.
Yeah, and this is about as good of an opportunity as it's going to get. Marcel going to fall, though. And there goes no one on the right-hand side, too. 2v2 situation. Doritos getting healed up. The pushback coming in.
13
seconds to go. Can they make anything of it? And you're just going to stop moving at that point. All they have to do is put down a twister. They do have one remaining, and that is going to be tough. Daryl can roll through, though, and he's going to just bounce out of it. A funny interaction coming in there, but he had nowhere to walk. The twister had completely cut off that area, so it's just going to bounce him over the wall.
GG's.
Honestly, very competitive set. At the end of the day, though, Zero Zone getting it done. That was an absolute banger to watch there, Ready. What a great one to watch.
Yeah, seriously, there were so many moments where my mind was just blown and I didn't even know what was going on. But I've been thinking about it, and I think
चलो भाई, ये पानी की बोतल लेके आता हूँ, मजे करो.
finishing as Gale tried to push him back, and of course Daryl is immune to that kind of thing while he's in his super. At least he's immune to Gale's pushback as well. So that is what ended up happening. It was like split-second timing that caused Zero Zone to lose that first game, but they were able to bring it back in the end, and they're going to get to take it on to parallel plays for the second set. And I don't know about you, Kenny, but I absolutely love this map. It's probably my favorite hot zone map that's currently in rotation. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Ring of Fire, but I think parallel plays takes the cake for me because I like the interactions on different areas of the map. I feel like it's really hard to push out of your spawn and you can get spawn trapped easily, so you have to play carefully around that. Another thing is that you have a few different strategies that you can go for. You can either decide to try and capture your own point at first, or you can go immediately for the enemy point and then capture your own point at the end of the game. There are a lot of ways to play it, you know, but at the end of the day, you want to play the one that's most versatile and the one that's going to get you to win. And with these new balance changes, that could be vastly different from what we've seen in the past.
I love this map for a lot of similar reasons too. I think it's my favorite hot zone map as well, just because 2 zones always makes things so much more interesting. There's a lot of different play styles that get implemented here. Sometimes we get the super heals coming in. We'll have things like Byron and Pam be a combo. We even see crazy things like Ashe show up in the lane on this map, and lots of different brawlers can be really solid here. In this region in the past, Jesse's been somebody that they use that's a little more unique to them, but I mean, we've seen Bell a couple times now. That's somebody that also does really well on this map too. Maybe that's just a brawler that they're starting to turn to in this region. That's now 2 or 3 instances just today that we've seen that be a little different than what we've just seen last month or the month before that, for example. And I'm with you. I think this is such an interesting map. There's a lot of different just strategies on how to play it. Like you said, do you get really aggressive for your enemies? Do you hunker down, play defense? Do you balance it out and do that traditional mid, left, right kind of scenario? I think there's a lot of different ways this can be played.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what the players choose, of course. They got 3 bans to work with and then 3 picks per team to follow that up with. So in total, right, 12 brawlers will be either picked or banned, which is definitely a sizable portion of the current brawler pool as well. So we'll get a pretty diverse setup here, but a few brawlers that I'm particularly looking out for, no stranger to the ban phase, are most certainly going to be Surge and Squeak. Some brawlers that I think won't be banned that could very well be picked here. I'm thinking Colonel Ruffs, most importantly. Jesse is another one that I'm thinking of, but I think Leon could absolutely make a surprise appearance, especially in conjunction with a long-range brawler such as Bell or something, which you brought up earlier. What are some other brawlers that come to mind when you think of the best brawlers for parallel plays?
Yeah, there's a few of them. Again, something I mentioned earlier too, and that you said, Ruffs is somebody that stock has only risen for me. He was already a very solid brawler, and now I think he's kind of isolated himself as a great early pick. Very safe option with the sandbags. Somebody that shows up here a decent bit, though, is somebody like Stu. Bell across other regions shows up here a lot. Byron, a staple for a long time, and again, even though he received a nerf, at least from practice and what we've seen here today, still frequently an early pick. I think those are a few good options, and of course, big fan of the Pam on this map for both defensive and offensive capabilities.
Okay, bans should be coming out in just a moment here. Let's see if any of those brawlers are banned out. If they're not, they are up for the pick phase. Very safe option. Here we go with the Spike, Mr. P, and Squeak from the side of Zero Zone. From Renegados, Byron, Squeak, and Eve. Only one brawler duplicate banned. I find that so interesting. And of course, Zero Zone deliberately leaves open Surge, and I really agree with this one on this map in particular. I think we saw Surge do Surge things in the past, but he didn't.
क्या हुआ भाई तुमको mysterious gamer?
Fully anticipate that on this map because Surge with his long range is going to be very important. It's going to be vital, in fact, to the success of any sort of composition that is permitted to use him. Renegados will be able to farm up some supers at long range with Gene. It's going to be kind of risky playing into Surge as well. I think Leon also might have a rough time surprising Surge. The Renegados does have a 6 pick. We'll also get to account for the Crow and the Bell that have been picked along the way by Zero Zone.
There's no instance of Bell where I feel like this region would have been turned towards Jesse. This is something that's been a development, and I'm honestly a fan of it here. I think Bell's overall kit is very solid. A lot of other regions use this map. Before the 6 bans came in, the new balance changed. This is probably those pretty one of the most picked at that time, and it doesn't surprise me to really see that continue here. Gene on this map is a little bit of a surprise to me, though, and there's actually the Jesse now. Really good on this map. Take a brawler that's of comfort to them, and I think he's here for that too. Not a bad decision. Jesse's not inherently my favorite brawler, but I think this map definitely really solid. It's something that this region really runs in on. Especially in times of uncertainty, they really have 3 days where they kind of mess around with these brawlers and practice these maps with the implementations that we've had. I don't think it's a bad idea to go for something with their confidence. I think they've worked overall. Not a bad draft from either side.
Yeah, I think it's a bad draft from either side. I mean, I wouldn't say Jesse is my personal pick, but could struggle versus Bell in particular. He's able to get Jesse onto more consistently. In fact, they've already placed wheels on that play versus Alonso, and I think they could do really well with this strategy. Doritos needs to get his shots, though, and Alonso's doing a great job of joking. Zero's going to get to approach towards the left side. Lots of damage being taken by no one. So he has managed to get a little bit of capture on that side. No capture for Renegados and right now so far. No one is able to stay on the left side as well. Hang on to level 2. And that could turn into a level 3 if he's able to get in range. He has a lot of speed to work with as well now as he pops that gadget to upgrade to level 4 temporarily. Things can seriously start ramping up. Wesley actually goes down. Now Doritos is able to walk off at this point. No one is a sole defender. And Zero Zone have a rough time, or going to have a rough time getting a Jesse off of his right lane. Well, Doritos actually is going to back up to retreat just a little bit, defend the spawn, so that Zero Zone aren't able to spawn camp them. Things are looking great for Renegados. Zero Zone totally can come back. There's the last gadget for no one. If he can't get good value off of this, that could be a game decider.
Nicely done there, of course. Doritos with a great transaction over the top right using the Jesse turret. Remember, Surge can't just teleport and get aggressive anymore. He has to use that super to get that job done now. Didn't have a super. Great job slowing him down with the gadget. Overall, going to give them that nice 9% lead now now. Alonso going to be on this left-hand side, playing against Marcel, who's been the ultimate defender here so far, so holding on to that super as well. Doritos with a takedown on the right, and things getting tough here for Wesley.
Next.
Low HP is going to be here, and Doritos now. Nice connection here. Doritos finishing off two. Cross up on the left-hand side, but Marcel continues to defend. This left-hand lane has not gone in the way of Zero Zone quite yet, but Alonso getting close here. Pull coming through, push back as well. Nice takedown, and now he's going to be forced to go help the teammates. Doritos just continues to put in more on this top right-hand side.
Yeah, he is not leaving. Wesley's not able to get the pitch. He's going to wait for his teammate to come around and go for the pitch. Doritos sees like a little bit longer. Jones is going to go down, but here comes Ureg to finish things off. And the trade, no one really isn't able to do anything here. Ureg just needs to stay alive for a little bit longer. There's the invisible. And he is going to get tripped up by that nest egg as well, but it hardly even
GG's.
left, and Renegados are able to get that last pick up percentage. And that is, well, not a match point, but it's slightly different. I think that this is a good sign. Renegados and ASAP. Of course, we're going to have to get through this game, or perhaps a game after it. Now, things are prepared to deal with Jesse this time. They're not really going to get close to that point to where she can just hide behind her, force the teammate to come by and go for a pitch to dispose of it. For the time being, Renegados have done a great job of now they can start moving on to the right. One nest egg on the ground. They probably aren't a whole lot concerned for an assault on this point. Doritos does go down, though. We'll see Ureg take a whole lot of damage, but he is able to pick up some away.
Alonso going to be making a strike towards the mid here. A little more control over Zero Zone, but nothing hasn't been able to get that first super. And remember, El Sergio's a really strong brawler right now. If you can't get past that first tier, it can be really tough. They're going to be forced to pop a gadget here.
Sword.
Charged up Doritos, trying to find a shot into no one, but the dodges are looking really good. 241 HP is all it takes to keep him up there. Renegados continuing to take down their own hot zone as well, 54% to both sides. Now each side going to be looking to try to get onto the opponent's side. Let's get a little bit of that percentage going in their favor.
Okay, Marcel very well to go for a pull right now. No one does get in close range, so you get that super for free. And that is going to be a big bonus that Marcel is going to have to grab a little bit. See Doritos actually opt to go for kind of a mid lane, but also picking up that turret as well. He was able to help take it down along the west lane. Also throwing down the lollipop drop to maintain his position on this side. Renegados is operating at a very slight disadvantage, though. Zero Zone has captured slightly more percentage, only just 1%. Well, 1% can decide the game. We'll see Alonso jump in and get immediately punished, but no one sets up residence on the left side. Marcel needs someone to pinch with him, or perhaps not. Gets a pull as well. Man defense. Zero Zone, though, still have locked things down on the right side. They show no signs of slowing down. Unless Ureg has to say something about it. Big kill. Maybe another one to follow it up. Doritos has to stay alive.
भाई कैसे हो ये कौन सा गेम है और जोन का फर्स्ट या सेकंड राउंड है
Renegados has accrued a 2% lead.
Oh,
Obviously, until this moment, even Marcel falls victim to a 1v2 or 1v3 scenario, but
30 seconds, 25 seconds remaining now.
for Marcel's efforts, really good takedowns overall, and right now the side of Zero Zone really closing in here, 20 seconds to go, and somehow Renegados is going to have to find their way to the other side. Doritos now going to be forced to get aggressive there. We're going to have to get a little bit desperate here. You're now invisible on a connection from Wesley, though. The game awareness to get that tag. 8 seconds to go, can they make it? The pull coming in from Marcel, 6 seconds to go. They're going to have to charge forward, though, but with Alonso touching down on the left-hand side.
Oh, GG.
Now going to be next.
Tie breaker now.
Just like that crazy.
आपको खेलना है मेरे साथ अद्वे नायर ब्रो अभी तो हम खेल नहीं रहे खेलेंगे तो कल सुबह खेलेंगे या दिन में खेलेंगे वैसे सुबह स्ट्रीम हम सुबह 9 बजे करते हैं अगर आपको खेलना है तो आ जाइएगा खेल लेंगे सुबह 9 बजे
Putting the work themselves, running off versus the opportunities just a little bit better. Ureg are having a rough time and getting in close range on the right side. And we'll try that in a large way.
सुबह 9 से 12 बजे तक
He's gonna be taking on Marcel.
टाई ब्रेक बहुत हो रहा है तो भाई लोग खेल ऐसा रहे
No doubt.
क्या ही करो
One game as close as the last one. So Doritos actually push further sets up his defenses, throwing down a nest egg as well. I don't think anyone is really ever going to be going over to that area the entire game, not because of the nest egg, but because there's an objective to be played on. Nonetheless, Wesley's going to be safe and sound, and Marcel is waiting for someone to walk into his range so he can get a good, just like that.
Really well done job there for Marcel. Once again, only 5%. That's all they can capitalize on that 2v1 scenario. And just
wasted.
another attempt at a pull there.
हेलो टॉक्सिक गेमर ब्रो, किस स्टेट से हो भैया? एक बात बोलूं, गुस्सा तो नहीं करोगे? ये मॉड तो नहीं हटाओगे? ये हाइड तो नहीं करोगे? मुझे डर लगता है। क्यों भाई? डिपेंड करता है तुम ऐसा क्या बोलने वाले हो उसके ऊपर। ओह नो।
And look, he's still on at tier 1, very tough to get that up. They only have so many gadgets to get through. It's going to lead to a 20% lead here for Regatos.
Okay, still a long time to work on here, and with the launcher getting a crucial kill, no way to raise so much damage. Is the turret going to get enough to take these guys down? Doesn't look like it. Wesley has the range, but Alonso is going to get pinched on this area, and Marcel is actually able to get the pull as well. I love seeing people get gene pull. It's like, you know, get over.
ब्रो किस स्टेट से हो? एक्सक्लेमेशन मार्क अबाउट लिख दो ब्रो इन द चैट, आपको पता चल जाएगा। वैसे मैं एमपी से हूँ, मध्य प्रदेश।
In Latin himself, I mean, don't quote me on it, but I love watching him play. Let's see if he's able to find his way out of his way. For him there, Zero Zone will continue accumulating percent.
ओ भाई 74 75 लीड हो गई।
At the same time, Zero Zone takes a marginal advantage, and they're going to further that as well. Almost able to kill off Marcel. Marcel has to get rid of Wesley here. Wesley is going to get rid of max range. And
14 seconds remaining.
advantage for Zero Zone here. If Renegados don't get this last
And
one,
GG's.
it's going to be Zero Zone headed on to the semifinals. It's going to
Yeah. Zero Zone goes to the semi-finals.
take it down. Zero
Oh.
Zone is headed on to the semifinals.
In upset alert, I mean, really well played those. I think Regatos should
भैया मैं यश हूँ, मैंने फेक आईडी बनाई थी, पंगा भी नहीं थी। मैं आपसे बात कर सकूं, मैं आपसे बात करने का मन कर रहा था।
taken, you know,
हाँ तो करो, किसने मना किया है?
weakness, I think is a better way to put it. I think overall really well played from
वो बात अलग है, तुम फालतू बात करोगे तो ब्लॉक कर दिए जाओगे, कौन सी बड़ी बात है। भले ही तुम यश हो, चाहे मिस्टर बियर हो, चाहे पंगाविन हो, डजंट मैटर।
really solid match overall. I'm going to be keeping my eye out for Zero Zone for the rest of the day now after seeing what they just did to Marcel and Renegados roster.
Yeah, definitely. Zero Zone is able to for the grand finals as they are advancing on to the semifinals. Of course, in our next quarterfinal, we have to find a worthy opponent for them. But firstly, you know, we got to break it down to what exactly worked for them, what maybe didn't work for Renegados. And Kenny, I totally agree with you. I think that Marcel is absolutely not a weakness for this roster. In fact, from the very beginning, and I'm still sticking with this mentality, this was a key acquisition for Renegados, and I think he played spectacularly on the Gene. If we talk about some of the problems, I think maybe this was not so well thought out on the Jesse pick. I don't think it really worked for Renegados as well as maybe they thought it would. Maybe game number one it did, but just like in Brawl, it didn't work out super well. And I think Marcel, especially in set number one, did a good job on Brawl Ball and popping off on Daryl when he really needed to, but then came some later opportunities where he really needed to pop off his Daryl, and he like ended up running into some fence posts or clipping obstacles and things, and it just is unfortunate, but it did end up costing the game in the end. I don't think it was all down to him, but I think the reason they won the game is because he clutched up, and the reason that they lost all the games is because he wasn't clutching up like he usually was.
Yeah, I mean, they are working with a new roster. It is, you know, even a change. Even for somebody like Marcel, there's still some kinks to work out. And on top of that, they're now dealing with individual bans for each player.
और जो सुबह यश आया था, मुन्ना भैया वो सॉरी बोल रहा था, वो कोई और था, फेक आईडी से आया था, मैं नहीं था।
To be a dark horse candidate in this region to really disrupt some things, to take down some enemy teams that are very solid. You know,
क्योंकि मैंने वो जीमेल हटा दिया था। पोल आएंगे, पोल आके चला गया भाई, अब भी तो आया था स्क्रीन पे MVP वाला।
Zero Zone, I think, had some overall great drafts. I think to me, especially in set number one, they had a strategy in mind. If you're going to go with somebody like Daryl, that's the direction you want to go. Really ban out those anti-tank counters that Imps and Gale going against them. I think overall, just on paper, it didn't look the best. It's obviously a close up, but I think that was more testament to how
Bro 345 points.
even being down in the draft.
बढ़िया bro, बढ़िया. Nice.
Favorite, but I think Jesse's fine. It just didn't.
भाई मेरे 2149 points हो गए.
And I feel like often in the draft, you're looking for those spots.
बढ़िया है.
Which are pick brawlers that are just really.
Who
I think Jesse's solid, but to me,
will win?
again, paid off in game number.
भाई यूनी को लगा दो, मैं बोल रहा हूँ यूनी को लगा दो. मैं तो चूज कर नहीं सकता हूँ, ये मेरे ऑलरेडी सब पॉइंट्स हो चुके हैं.
I think that they played really well in the face of.
वैसे कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है. 48 49 51%, 50-50 हो रखा है. किसी को भी लगा सकते हैं.
It makes such a fresh new concept.
अरे ये क्या हुआ भाई? नेट गया क्या? मुझे लगा मॉड ले लोगे. भाई बिल्कुल ले लेंगे. अगर तुम फालतू के काम करोगे तो तुम मॉड हो ना हो,
Aim for a
ब्लॉक करने में हम पीछे नहीं हटते. तुरंत ब्लॉक कर देते. भाई क्यों इतना लैग हो रहा है? ये स्ट्रीम तो चल रही है.
On the meta right now, and I'm just looking at all of them can definitely be solid. But Yuma Gaming has
हेलो स्टॉक तो ने.
Max and Piper.
I like Fox, okay. Mysterious Gamer. Bro, मेरा ऑटोमेटिकली कुछ भी टीम पिक हो रही, मुझे उनिमा करना था, इन्होंने ऑटोमेटिकली EMB कर दिया. आपके 3000 पॉइंट्स हो गए होंगे इसलिए ब्रो.
Don't want to be dealing.
मेरे भी 3000 पॉइंट्स हो चुके हैं,
We've seen him at
इसलिए देखो अपने आप पिक हो रहे हैं, अपने आप
interesting
कुछ भी वोट जा रहे हैं,
gaming
क्योंकि ऑलरेडी पूरे पॉइंट्स हो चुके हैं.
face off against.
Yeah, I totally agree here, and I think that's the beauty of having 3 bans is that you actually have the freedom to ban out brawlers that you simply don't want to play against. You also get to play not just Brawl Stars with your meta, but you get to play Brawl Stars against your enemy and ban out brawlers that you're pretty good at. Which is fine.
मैंने ब्लू कर दी.
We didn't see with the dread
बात नहीं. अच्छा, इसका मतलब मेरा मेन आईडी अनब्लॉक होगा? बिल्कुल नहीं होगा.
opens the doors for
जो ब्लॉक है वो ब्लॉक ही रहेगा.
We'll see Unima Gaming actually go with the Byron, Gale, and Tara. All of their brawlers have been picked now. It's time for Embanados to go with their final pick. It's going to be
भाई क्या चल रहा है? बार बार क्यों बंद हो रहा है ये? कौन सा सर्वर है?
real interesting. I think that Imps is actually going to be a key pick for these guys as long as Embanados can get really uses Tara. And I think also the same is going to be great for dealing with main.
आपको कैसा लग रहा है? मैंने आके मॉड लिया, अब आपको पता चला.
As a mid,
मेरे को क्या लगेगा भाई?
as a mid,
अरे भाई ये क्या है?
the ability to
इतना घटिया कनेक्शन क्यों चल रहा है ये?
Tara that's going to be absolutely key. We'll have to see how it plays out though. Already, Sandy
इतना ब्लर क्यों दिख रहा है ये?
left side, and King J does a phenomenal.
अलग ही अंदर. UIN like a fox. Yeah.
And Bananados just continuing to pile up these gyms. It's now going to be a 7-0 lead.
Holding on to those 7 gems, he has to play cautious. By Byron, but now Byron's position is with him. He's also down. He's going to expire. And still, Bell's not holding in position. King J is going to use another acid spray. It wasn't totally good there. With a super by Brett. And now Brops K actually just needs one more gem for himself in order to get him. Banana does a countdown. Plenty of time left in the game as well. Good gaming. He's going to go for a slow and steady retreat. King J is definitely going to help out with that once he takes down the right lane. It's all up to him to slow things down as well.
And Brawl doing a great job trying to beat entire set. to sleep, taking one down. Great efficiency with those gadgets overall.
लॉल कह रहे थे उन्हीं मालो
Getting that taken very quickly.
भाई गोल्डी रॉक को शाउट आउट दे दो।
Totally agree. And I think
नहीं भाई अभी लंच टाइम है, अभी नहीं देंगे। काउंटर नंबर 3 पे जाओ, अभी तो अभी लंच टाइम चल रहा है।
to play really offensively at the beginning, and then he maintains his position for pretty much the remainder of the game. Where now it's very clear he's still in range of King J to the best of his ability and his prediction, and Brawl is able to get the kill. But Bob's game, it's going to be different than you. Brawl is going to come to team this way. So it looks like these two are going to team up for just a little bit more. Bob's game moves back to mid. King J does slightly trip up on that wall. Brow's into his position. This one now very calm start for Yoga Gaming. It looks
फॉक्स डू इट। एसबीए वाले हो क्या? तुमको कैसे पता चला?
that early game victory in the last one, and they use that to their advantage. But now with a Sandy super down, it's going to be a whole lot more challenging for them to take back mid.
It's always so fascinating, you know, it's the same exact colors that are being played both games. We've seen a very different start here for Unum. They're playing their strategy a lot better. Final gadget coming in for Tara, who's now charged super 2. Gonna go ahead and win this here. Tag on to Sandy. Not a lot of capture there, though. Goes up right against that wall. Can save themselves from taking too many hits. Does actually manage to stay alive there, too. The firing tags not going to be enough there. Barely staying up. And now they own this left-hand lane. Taking a really aggressive position. And Manana does in a great spot here to try and take back the gym lead.
Bob's K trying to stay as safe as he can. He almost actually see Skirts get a super here. Just one shot away from getting that super off of Embrod. There it is. He almost gets taken down. There's the kill onto Embrod, though. Into the hand and pick up 8-9 gems of total time from enter the spawn. And also a lot of healing.
1-1-1-1
Keeps on getting held back. Embrod does manage to snag another gem here, but another one is soon on the way. And it might.
खुद के ऊपर डाल ले ले भाई, क्या कर रहा है?
Embra hasn't really been damaged a whole lot. Here's the opportunity. 2D is able to make it out with this gem, but Empanados were prepared for this. They were
नाइस।
to stall things out, but this is a series of pushes to get yet another gem and pick up all of those from Embra.
कम बैक। वैसे हम प्रिविलेज अकाउंट होल्डर हैं,
Game number 3.
तब पीछे वाले गेट से बाहर चले जाएं।
Good to feel good. Looking like Brabau really popped off.
कैन बनाना विन दिस।
Early
बनाने के छिलके निकल गए। कहाँ से विन दिस?
kills here and there, and even towards the end to secure the W, they ended up getting some nice takedowns. Again, even though Gale didn't get not quite as strong as we used to be, but still a great stand-one brawler, and at least what we've seen today, it still seems to be a brawler that every single team is willing to interact with.
भाई
Let's see if Empanados have learned anything from the last game. They didn't have a whole lot of time to reflect, but they are playing the early game a little bit differently this time. Not in an amazing way. At least we do see King J get the takedown onto Braval, and Tootie and Skirts on the right side. We saw Skirts doing a great job on the right lane in the last game. Also, I don't know if King J knows that Skirts has a super. He's going to be playing cautiously, but Skirts has this.
नाइस नाइस, दो कनेक्ट कर दिए, एक और।
Is going to be picking up a few more gems here as well. Unima Gaming will get to soon advance to that 7 gem count. Of course, they have to play cautiously around that sandstorm as well. Once they're able to scout out these bushes, it will be a much different game. No way, Props K is able to get the takedown on the 2D. That is the punishment for
GG's।
Here's the blue team countdown. Empanados can run back with this one in an angry pin as well from 2D XZ. Unfortunate for Unima Gaming. It's not looking.
फेंक दे, फेंक सुपर फेंक, उसको मार भाई। अरे
Just came crashing down all at once.
Nah.
King J actually
wasted, come back।
inside too. Just a couple crucial mistakes there, and of course Jim grab a mode where you can be ahead 75, 80, 90% of the match and still taking a takedown, and not let your gym spill out. The other team picks them up and walks away. What more can you do? And I think right there they took advantage of that, really capitalize on those mistakes, and Benona does. We're going to be taking our first set 2-1.
Yeah, and I think also
Nice Fox, if come in world so go Fox।
he had kind of a poker face, right? But he was not elated, and he wasn't seriously in.
चलो भाई, मैं सिर्फ 6 मिनट और हूँ, उसके बाद फिर एंड कर देंगे स्ट्रीम। कि हमको फिर
That didn't happen.
दूसरे काम करने के बाद
We need to get 2 sets in a row, and we're just trying to completely sweep. We're trying to completely sweep in banana juice here, right? I think taking Sneaky Fields is yet another path where those bushes are going to be a factor.
हेलो तांजीरो
To play.
ब्रो आई प्राइड टाइडेड करेक्ट बट
But I
टोकन नॉट एडेड
think the response, and it kind of works as a free
आई प्राइड टाइडेड करेक्ट
pretty locked down
भाई खतरनाक चीज लिखी है
right
भाई एक मैच करके जाओ
towards the end of that Sandy Super
एक मैच करके भाई ये खत्म करके जा रहे हैं बस ये पूरा सेट खत्म हो जाए तो मतलब सिर्फ सेमीफाइनल और फाइनल बचेगा उसके बाद
Arcade and Sneaky Fields. I think we get to see a few more tanks on Sneaky Fields though.
रोली हुआ देर पिक भाई मेरा तो कोई पिक ही नहीं है मैं कर ही नहीं सकता पिक अपने आप हो रहा है सब कुछ
Yeah, we might. I
नो मैटर व्हाट
draft for
मेरे हो चुके हैं 3000 पॉइंट्स तो भाई
I think teams can
दिन वाली स्ट्रीम में ही हो गए थे मेरे तो अब मैं कुछ चूज कर ही नहीं सकता
this map for a long time, least and most frequently picked. Now we've got more bans though. Maybe she won't even be in play, but that's something that Crystal Arcade and Sneaky Fields are going to share. And I definitely think, you know, with Gale still in the mix, if you don't ban him, you gotta be really careful.
ब्रो आई प्रेडिक्टेड करेक्ट बट टोकन नॉट एडेड अगर आपने सही प्रेडिक्ट किया था और टोकन ऐड नहीं हुआ था 15 मिनट्स का वेट कर लो 15 मिनट्स के अंदर आ जाता है
Options to really
15 मिनट्स मतलब 15 मिनट 15 मिनट्स
have those counters.
लगता है टाइम कई बार लेकिन आ जाते हैं
But most common ones we do see, if it does come down to the tank, are going to be Rosa and Ash 2 that are going to get the job done here on this map if they're not facing off against some crazy picks. Again, too, B going to be another one that's a really frequently picked mid here and also does super well into tank. So I can totally see that being banned or in the mix for either of these teams.
Yeah, I think when we talk like these really powerful tanks like Ash and Rosa, you know, combine them with a healer, let's say like Byron or something. I don't think Poco is anywhere near where he used to be. But like Poco double tanks, I mean, this is a certified LATAM South Classic. The problem is that even 3 bans is not enough to make sure that you are safe picking these tanks, and you bring up a lot of good options, right? You got M's, you got B, you have
बोथ वेरी गुड
and that's just 3 of them. And you have a plethora of other brawlers that can deal with them, like Griff or things like that. Brawlers that can not only break open walls, but can also do huge damage to tanks at long range, close range, however you want to do it. You can make it happen. So maybe we'll see a tank as a last pick if that opportunity is possible. And of course, I think that everyone's familiar with my absolute favorite brawler to play on Sneaky Fields. We haven't heard it yet this broadcast, so I feel like I should bring it up now. Shelly, please someone pick Shelly and just humor me here. Maybe Unima Gaming will be able to win with the Shelly. That would be a good way to make a statement. Here are the bans though. Eve, Squeak, and Crow from the side of Unima. From the side of Empananados, we see the Sandy, Gale, and Spike. I think pretty solid bans across the board. No duplicates or anything either. Definitely possible to play tanks, but there was no M's and there was no Surge ban either. As we see Unima Gaming pick that one up. What will they choose for number 3? I'm hoping for an M's because I think she's a very good brawler on this map.
I think that's a great one to point out too. Ems is going to be a very strong candidate on this map, and it looks like Unima Gaming going to be taking advantage of Surge not getting picked first overall. That's a choice that Imbananados is going to have to live or die.
इम्स
You know how Surge is going to do on this map. It's not one traditional.
इम्स
Really been played.
मुझे नहीं लगता
Unima Gaming is willing to
ले लिया वैसे नॉइस तुम्हारी बात सुन ली भाई मिस्टीरियस गेमर
which you mentioned before. I'm going to give Bo a shout out here too. It's somebody I've seen scrimmed a decent bit. We saw
एम बनाना डोस एफ ने तुम्हारी बात सुन ली और इन ले लिया
Bo did get that buff. I'll point him.
His Leon is good. I don't think so.
Yeah, I totally agree here. Bo is going to be a good brawler, not only for breaking open walls, but also for, you know, maybe getting a little bit of good visibility within the bushes or things like that. Of course, visibility gear makes Circling Eagle not as good anymore, but
इस मैप के लिए लियोन सही नहीं है
Unima Gaming
ऐसा मैं बोल सकता हूँ बिकॉज ये ऑलरेडी पूरा कवर्ड मैप है इसमें सब ब्रॉलर लियोन ही है क्योंकि वो छुपे हुए हैं ग्रास के अंदर
right now, I guess. Here's the thing, is speed gear
ऐसा कोई ब्रॉलर होता जो डैमेज कर पाता तो ज्यादा मजे होते
it looks like Empananados are preparing for kind of the late game where Unima Gaming does have some walls broken open with Colonel Ruffs. and they're still going to have that speed when those walls are broken open.
Nice one down.
That the response from Unima Gaming is actually quite good as well. I think B as well, even not
पास कर दे इसको भाई
slowing things down.
कैसे
There's the first wall break by Skirtons, and 2D will be able to pick it up and survive surprisingly as well. King J tries to make a push around the left side. Big push in for Brad Al. It's not going to result in much, and this is already
GG's.
a goal for him.
B is good.
Really well played there too.
B alone can't do
Better for the side
most of the things. They needed support.
between the B and the Ruffs, but King J with a nice super there, going to force back the Colonel Ruffs. However, he does retaliate with several shots there, going to put King J in a weak position. And now they're going to have to push up without him as he heals up. Huge defensive stance here once again for Unima Gaming. Wow, coming back with a power 2 surge, which is pretty solid, but they would ideally like to see that be a 3 or 4. And coming in with the Colonel Ruffs power 2, that's going to make him lethal if he can ever get to that power 4. Things looking a little bit better here for Unima Gaming as they clean things up a little bit. Aggressive super coming in there, power 3, but a nice takedown. That's going to be big in the long term. And now 2D in the aggressive positioning. They've reclaimed the mid.
Okay, Embra getting tapped by that supply drop. It looks like he won't be able to make it out of this one. Brad Bao actually goes for the stop on him because he can, and also because he wants to get that level 3 up. We'll see Brops K also looking for any sort of way to get that next super rep. Embanados really want to have adequate defense for the late game, but they also would sure like to go ahead and score another goal in order to end this one off quickly. King J is going to be taken down. No, never mind. I spoke too soon. Skirtis gets taken down with a combo of Brobskate and King J. A jump forward by Brabal on the left side. He's able to pull off for him, though, as Embra does get the takedown. And
20 seconds remaining.
20 seconds left. Unima Gaming don't really have the speed to make it to the enemy side. It's looking like a lost cause.
And they have won.
1-0 here, ball pocketed on the bottom.
No chance. No chance.
Does get taken down by King J, and they're just going to pick up the ball with 3 seconds to go. Not enough time here for Unima Gaming. Game number 1 of Sneaky Field's going to be going to Embanados.
Yeah, and just like that, we're headed on to a match point as well. Embanados. We saw a solid performance from them last month, and it looks like this month is no different either. And look, you already said it, Kenny, but look sharp to play sharper, think sharper. I'm actually not totally sure. I just heard the first couple of words of what you said. But you got to dress for success, and Embanados definitely have a lot of success coming their way. Embra will get taken down quite early in the game, though. Unima Gaming can get a few more takedowns here. Big problem for them is that they don't have a whole lot of viability until the walls are broken open. Now, Skirtis is going to get a good wall break here, and a takedown into Brops K is going to work out pretty well for these folks as well. Embra is kind of invisible, kind of an unknown enemy. Actually going to opt to retreat as well. Embanados got to play defense now instead of going for any kind of offense. Once they're able to get at least one takedown on the enemy, they can start working for that goal. For the time being, though, it's looking like a 1v3. Embra is able to stall things out just a little bit longer, but it's not enough. Nope, not going to be enough. King J wasn't able to get the
GG's. Good goals.
and Unima is the first one.
2D with a very collective goal there. The defense from King J was almost enough. Trying to get the pushback in there with the gadget and a couple shots. Just not quite enough. Gonna be 1-0 here. Unima Gaming actually electing to put this in the back right-hand side. Nice takedown from Brabao on to Brops as well. Now we have a 3v2 advantage here for Unima Gaming, taking their time here. Just keep recycling those takedowns for Surge, and he's only going to keep getting stronger too. Imagine what he could do with the Surge power-up, or excuse me, a Ruff's power-up as well. I mean, this could get really deadly here. And the longer this plays out, the more these walls open. I do get a little scared here for the side of Embanados, but look at them now. A little speed coming in, and now they're getting really aggressive. That's 2 takedowns. The Surge, though, getting 1 on the board as well. And they do make the decision to leave the ball for now. And Surge doing what he can to get those takedowns. And what a halt there for the side of Embanados, who could have had a nice goal opportunity there.
Yeah, complete and total shutdown for these guys. 30 seconds remain for Embanados to bring this back, though. There's the speed onto
Oh, bhai. GG's.
as well. It's all down to King J, but he only has a friend zone and he's not going to be able to deal with this. 20 seconds left. Gotta see a max speed or something, but it looks like Brett Out is absolutely popping off this game. He's not letting anyone through these bag lines. Drew a Paladin in the flesh and also in the game as well. King J will get taken down, and Brawl K will make the last sort of push to try and get this ball, but it is going to be a fruitless pursuit.
Again.
Despite being match are, I feel like they're meeting their makers now. A total complete shutdown by Brawl. In fact, not even just one, but numerous throughout that last game, and I expect nothing less for number 3, unless Embanados can do something.
Yeah, a great set to watch so far. Once again, Brawl been a big factor in both maps so far, and once again paying off there. The surge pick coming to fruition for sure. We're seeing why it can really be so lethal in situations like this. Early takedown for King J though, and now a dash.
Oh, bhai, choked up.
So close though, it was worth the gamble. Now it's going to be a 3v2, and for now, Ball going to be on the top left-hand side.
And it's going to be cornered by Unima. Never a good sign to be cornering the ball so early. I feel like when you play that defensively, you're playing not to lose instead of playing to win. No way! King J with a huge play, already 2 kills. Brawl is able to counter.
Oh, bhai. GG's.
Entire push, and that is a clutch if I have ever seen one, and that is why Surge is so strong. If Embanados somehow make it out of this set, and they make it onto the semifinals, there's no way they're letting Surge slip past their defenses again.
I mean, I'm at a loss for words. Brawl just really putting on a show for us. It's so fun to watch, but I'm sure on the other side, it's so frustrating to play against. And again, this is something I mentioned before too. They had the opportunity to take Surge at 1.1 on the side of Embanados, and I said, this is going to be something they're going to have to live or die by, and right now they are certainly dying to it. But however, there is a minute left to be played, plenty of time, and for now, Unima Gaming doing their best to defend this, making some decisions here whether they want to bring this ball out. And it looks like for now, they're going to keep it in this top left-hand side. Surge now getting powered up. The speed coming through for Max and teammates. Nice slowdown coming in for B, though. The super going out there.
Oh, nice.
Taking down the biggest threat for Brawl. Now going to be a 2v2 situation.
Nice.
Not enough. 2D with the takedown. And it's still a 0-0 overall. 30 seconds to go. But Unima, well, now with B falling, it's pretty even once again.
Oh man, Brawl doesn't have level 3, but he will pretty soon. King J's next on the menu. No way. The friend zoner doesn't take him down, but King J's main attack does. Skirts is still playing defense over here around the ball. Embrod might be able to take him down too, but Embanados playing extremely cautiously around.
Overtime.
He's only one shot away from that level.
Fox.
Embanados will have a serious enemy right
And it's overtime. Oh no, oh no.
from Brobs K. And the ball is completely up for grabs, but no one wants to get it just yet. They got to take down some of the key players on the enemy team first. Brobs K will get slowed down as well. Skirtis can get a pass over to the right side, but still,
Nice.
he does have a super to use if he wants level 4, but more than likely, he needs to get a little bit better positioning or a stun. Skirtis,
Nice.
now there it is as he gets a takedown on Brobs K. Now a super in from Brawl. Pass to Brawl.
Nice. Oh, GG's. Welcome. Come back.
That's the first sign of any emotion we've seen Brawl here today. Pretty nicely done. He of the set there, and again, you're going to be questioning not taking Surge at 1.1. He's just such a strong brawler, and he did a great job too in the overtime situation. That's a spot where Surge might not do quite as well. Remember, a big part of why he is such an advantage is to maneuver around those walls with his super. He can land on enemies, and his defense was insane there. You know, I'm a big proponent of Gale for goalie, but Surge might be taking the throne here pretty soon. Who knows?
Fox OP. Yeah.
This is true. It's just like chain stuns, one after the other. You get a little bit of supercharge with your super, and then you fire off like a couple shots, and boom, then you have another one. It's ridiculous, and it's quite interesting to see how much being able to move like a really short distance, I gotta say, with that super changes Surge so drastically, because not only does he have invincibility when he supers, but he gets a little bit of distance too, so he can close the gap as well. I love the rework onto this brawler. Is he really strong now? Yeah, but like, I like it. I like it a whole lot, and I feel like it's not as free as that teleport used to be. Now, is Surge going to be free for the pickings in the next map? That is a big question up for debate, and honestly, I don't think that he'll be banned or picked here, because he doesn't have the teleport to counter out any throwers, and getting that super in the first place is going to be a real challenge, because as soon as he pops a gadget, everyone is just going to vanish into bushes on the enemy side. But who knows? Maybe Unima, for instance, could show us how exactly you are able to get yourself a Surge Super by force using the gadget and also getting a little bit of assistance from your teammates in the early game.
We've seen Surge several times here today, though, and I think Layer Cake's not necessarily one that he's inherently favored on, but there's really sneaky fields. I mean, I think these teams are really starting to see that Surge can be a great pick. They might elect to ban him, they might not. They may just want to wipe it off the board completely on the side of Embananados just to get rid of it. They don't even want to chance it, and that's one of the nice things that you have, the luxury of 3 bans per team. They can just say, hey, we don't want to deal with that ever again, even if it's a map that he's not necessarily favored on. Let's just take it off the board, and I think that's one of the really cool things that we're going to get to start seeing here throughout the competitive season as it progresses of what these teams elect to do. They can really make some changes mid-set if they see there's a brawler that is a major threat. They've still got 2 more bans after that that they can use to ban stronger brawlers, targeted brawlers, whatever they elect to do. And I'm really curious to see what both these sides end up doing here as we approach Layer Cake.
Yeah, Layer Cake, some of the brawlers that I'm looking at in particular, I think that Tick is definitely a brawler that could be banned here and is quite likely to be banned because whoever gets Tick is going to have such a huge advantage for the entire game. So if you have second pick, you're definitely banning Tick here. If you have first pick, you're not going to be banning it because you want that off chance of being able to pick it for yourself. I think Eve, this is one of the maps where she could actually be making an entrance as well. And we saw a little bit of Piper earlier on in the day, and I think that she's quite viable here as well. Some other brawlers that I would want to look out for, though, Brock, right? He's able to break open those walls for free, and as we stand, I think he's picked a little bit more often than he should be in some other regions, like NA, for instance, but we haven't seen any of him at all so far. But if there's anywhere for him to make an entrance, I think that the walls here are going to be absolutely key to break open to make some other sharpshooters more viable.
I think that's a great shout out. I really like Brock on this map. I think you have to be a little careful with it. I like going Brock a little later on in the draft just to get a wall break in there if they feel like they can take advantage of it, or maybe pair with some sharpshooters that they've already drafted. We'll see what both these teams end up banning, though. I think Eve is definitely one that I could still see getting banned here. I feel like Eve is still a pretty solid brawler, not nearly
Something new brawler pick.
we saw last month, but still somebody that's really solid. I think Sprout could get in the mix here too. Mr. P, a brawler that this region really likes, could be banned and could be played. Bell, of course, gonna give a shout out to Colonel Russ. A lot of sense to me. The nursery rhyme continues to hold true, and look at that, Surge not in play, but I will mention Squeak is available, and I think you gotta go Squeak.
Oh, no.
And there it is.
Cheapo, cheapo,
But I mean,
cheapo.
they banned out 3 really top brawlers for this map. Maybe the one exception is Surge. I don't think he's a top brawler for this map, but if I were Embananados in set number 2 on Sneaky Fields, I would never, ever, ever chance Surge being played on the enemy team like for the rest of the day, especially by Unima Gaming, and especially by Brawl. We do actually have the squeak pick here. Brawl also styling on us. A little bit of confidence as well, as they really can take this one now. They didn't get taken down at the match point in set number 2, so they can play pretty comfortably. Let's talk about, actually, though, that final pick from Unima Gaming, Grom. I think Grom is really just being picked here because he is the only other thrower that can be really viable in no way. And Embananados with the Mortis to finish things off. I like it. I love the creature of the night, and I think that he only works as a 6 pick, and I commend Embananados for having the guts to play him. We'll see how he is in practice, though.
I think Mortis is a great way to try and address what Unima has drafted. Again, Mortis is somebody you have to really tread lightly on, but as a 6th pick can work really well. Something I mentioned a little bit earlier too, and just something I was kind of looking out for with the 6 bans versus, say, or up to 6 bans versus 3, is that typically on knockout and bounty type maps, Sprout and Tick are going to get the most love. I think they're the top 2 for this game mode, but Grom was used a little bit before by teams like, say, Stamina EU from time to time, even without those bans coming through, and now he's the next best available thrower. I don't think he's inherently the strongest brawler, but given this situation, it does make sense to me that they would want to go with this.
Yeah, I totally agree. And so far, he is actually keeping back King and Jay and Embra pretty effectively. Tootie is also going to be a nice help as well. Scourges picks up the first kill of the game also. bringing the score line back in favor of Unima Gaming. We'll see Brops K on the left side, though, playing Mortis. Really, the main objective for him at the beginning of the game was just to get that blue star so that Empanados could afford to play defense, but let's face it, Mortis is not a defensive brawler. Ouch, that is gonna hurt. A big boom onto Mortis is going to further the score of Unima Gaming. But yeah, I feel like you use Mortis to get that blue star. He's not a good defender, so you pretty much say to your teammates, y'all gotta fight a 2v3 on defense, just try not to die. And well, we saw how that one went. I don't think that'll be attempted in the next game, not at all. But Envenenado is now going to play with the situation that they voluntarily gotten themselves in. 30 seconds remain. They have actually backed up Unima Gaming all the way to their spawn. We'll see if Brops K can make a clutch up play.
With the Squeak Gadget, this is definitely a team that can hunker down, but not when they have a chain pull in the mix.
Nice.
Doesn't hit, but the regular shot does. 3-7, now 15 seconds ago.
Nice.
6 stars on his head, 11-3. There's not going to be enough time here right now. 5 seconds to go. He's going to do his best as a Mortis here. Even if they get that takedown, they'll need one more. He was close. 14
GG's.
to go for the score. Unima Gaming turning the tides, and now they have a match point of their own.
Oh man, the reverse sweep, that's what you love to see. It's what you love to feel if you're on the other side for Unima Gaming. For Empanados, things are getting a little bit hairy. Brops K, I gotta commend the guy. He's playing some of the riskiest, or some of the most important roles, I think, to play. And I think that Mortis is a big risk as well. Let's see how the playstyle has shifted up, though. Brops K is gonna be trying to play kind of a defensive Mortis this time, instead of just throwing his teammates to the wolves this time. Oh no! He misses the kill on Discouragement to start things off, but he is able to get it in the end, but still, he goes right back to Unima Gaming. Hey, at least the Empanados only have a 1-star deficit to work with. Embra can still get a kill on the Grom or something, but it looks like more than anything, Empanados is going to have to wait till the game is about to end before they can start making a huge play.
2D also dropping the gather. That's twice now we've seen this. They drop it right in that mid, and it completely cuts off the directions that Empanados can go. It's slowing for about 20 seconds. That's about a minute of control of whatever lanes they want. And especially with somebody like Mortis, that really eliminates how many directions they can go. King J is being slowed right now, in fact. And a huge start for them too. Grom popping off really early once again. Now the super
GG's.
7-4, and with 50 seconds,
Nice.
a 5-star lead for Unima Gaming.
I mean, it's like not impossible for Empanados, but it's not looking probable. That is without a doubt. Brops K, I believe he's got to make some huge play here, perhaps on Brawl and onto 2DXZ. We see some Vengeful Spirits actually coming out, and I believe it got, I don't know if it got a buff, but it did deal 1,000 damage just then, and Brops K gets hit. Pretty much the death sentence here, or any sort of Mortis or any sort of brawler is trying to get in close range. That mark is going to be a huge disadvantage. Here comes the countdown. He needs to get in close range. Here's the final attempt. Not able to get that.
GG's. Unima Gaming going to the semi-final. Can you check your friend list at Brawl your friend? Yeah, I know. Brawl is my friend list. What happens?
Those things you can tell a team they have. Unima Gaming, it's the first time we've seen Brawl with this much emotion. And good for him. Really great set overall. Again, a really close one. Really nice to see.
Oh yeah, crazy moments or what? Oh yeah, अरे हम भी डांस कर लेते हैं.
I don't know what's going on, but the watch party higher hits different. Nicely done. Good celebration, and they will be seeing in the semifinals here shortly.
Yeah, it's me. बढ़िया भाभी.
Celebrating. If only we had music, I would love to know what they're saying. I would probably say congratulations to the student. I'm so blown away by how many people there were.
चलो भाई,
Like 7
अभी हम एंड कर रहे हैं स्ट्रीम को बिकॉज इसके आगे सेमीफाइनल और फाइनल होना बस बाकी है, तो वो हम करेंगे बाद में कभी.
away. That's the next levels of
टाइम लीव नाउ गाइस. चलो गाइस, बाय बाय, टेक केयर, हैव अ गुड नाइट स्लीप एंड विल सी यू गाइस वंस अगेन later on with another stream. Till then, bye bye, take care and pizza out. Pizza खा के सो जाना है. तब तक के लिए टाटा, बाय बाय and have fun. Bye.
And I ain't stopping, no I ain't stopping, homie regardless, And I ain't stopping, no I ain't stopping, I'm just getting started, let's go. My skin is pale, but I'm a black sheep, riding through the city, Satan in the backseat. Hey yo, that's me, I run it like a track meet, a rap fiend, I set the bar high like an athlete. Step in the booth and Zach gon' drop that 808, cause the vibe is dope and the beat is cracking, now it's getting laced. I'm sharp as a razor blade, I can blow your mind like JFK. I do what I want, you ain't gonna box me in like David Blaine. We get it poppin', homie, day and night. Got the party jumping, about to break the ice. Stay up on my grind, that's my way of life. I got tunnel vision, I'ma chase that ray of light.